for the drama, for the culture, like we said, but I think EXO is the safe bet. I ain't a gambling gal, but if I was, I'd put a stack down on them right now.
Yeah, I said coin toss. Maybe I should have said a burger flip here, but we will find out if they come out medium rare or well done here in their matchup, as they are indeed going to be punching up, like you guys said, taking on the loose cannons here in Asia. XOXO01, best of luck to both of them.
Who orders a well done burger? Yeah, just sandwich a leather boot between my two buns, please.
Delicious.
This is a call-out post, all right? If you order your burgers or your steak well done, leave.
Yeah. Look, I'm right there with you, Stevie. Oh my goodness. All right, no more creative burger opportunities there. We are going to see a creative draft, though. Gambit is available again here, so the burgers have afforded that to XO, but XO, they aren't biting. They're just going to be locking in the Black Cat here. They don't give a damn.
Yeah, I mean, and that's already going to be scary. Like, the fact that you might have to deal with the Gambit. Honestly, I think even though EXO have that, I don't know if that's going to be something that they play. I don't know. It's one of those tough things where it's like, it feels like it's too good to pass up, but it's also not really been their style. So, you know, realistically, kind of a coin flip if they'll even utilize that, but protecting onto that Black Cat, you know for a fact Sung Jukwoo is going to be utilizing that. It doesn't matter if you got the Devil Dinosaur. It doesn't matter what you got in your backline. You've lost the Rocket, which is one of the most survivable strategists against a Black Cat, and that is going to hurt you severely, and so too is the Phoenix ban.
That it will. Goodbye, Phoenix, and hello, Luna. But who's going to be next on the ban line here? No sooner will it be Ultron. So Ultron are going to be locked down. Maybe? No? Mantis? Opportunities there. Still leaving Gambit available here. So it seems they don't care. They're happy to concede the Gambit to them here, and will be shutting away every other piece of opportunity. So, okay. This is very interesting, but the priorities are exactly where they want to be right now.
I sure hope for the sake of the burgers that they know what they're doing, because I don't. A one-sided Star-Lord with no Rocket on your side and no Gambit either, and yeah, of course you're going to take away the other option for damage amps for Peter Quill in that Mantis, so I'm not quite sure what Wounds is cooking, but I sure do hope it comes out not well done, but in fact medium rare.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that it'll come through cooked to perfection there. We'll see how things go. Jumping in to the next portion of this one, as we have our hero selections getting locked in here. You know, they're preparing to lock in who they want to play into this one. Sung Jukwoo still considering their options, but should be locking it down in a second and prepared to do whatever they need to right now, as we get to take a look at some of the wonderful landscapes here before we prime up and get the full extent of our team-ups. And we do see Gambit on deck for EXO there, so a little spoiler before we jump into the map. Unsurprising.
Yeah, I mean, unsurprising, but also kind of a little surprising. Like I said, it's too good to pass up. Like, even if you're EXO, and even if it's not something that's really your playstyle, if you got it, you might as well use it. I think a couple of swaps may be coming through, so who knows? You know, maybe they're still undecided on whether or not they want to bring out the Gambit. I do think that, like, with or without it, they are going to be the same threat either way. Ace on this Jeff, either just for the bubbles, or maybe he goes for the swap. We'll see. He's gonna stick there we go. Yep, there it is. Yeah, gonna go for it. Now burgers. How do you deal with this one if you're going up against the Gambit? Again, like, no damage amps for the Star-Lord, so Woos is gonna have to take to the skies and try and make the most of it with no assistance.
No assistance at all here. We'll see how they rise up to this one. A big damage from afar there from a lone field. The boy goes down, the fadeaway KO. Love to see it with the two-tap. Maybe call him Tony. We'll see how they go into the next one, though. It's RF now fading away, and they're not looking to give this one to them for free.
They gotta try and get this one quick, though, because the boy coming back into the fray when you least expect it could be a problem, but JT3 has got the problem solver right there. It's the Glock in his left hand, and with that, he will put down that first member of the Burgers and force them to retreat, get that first cap going, and he wants to keep this pain train rolling, gonna march up forward and force Burgers to retreat all the way back to the spawn door if he can, but not gonna be able to do so, as now they're back at full strength, and the shots coming in from Wounds, looking to try and build up that Galactic Legend, and is doing a pretty good job of farming up that ult charge. The Banhammer might put him in check, though.
Oh, yeah, I think that'll keep them locked down. JT3 already looking to lock it in here. See if they can spin things a full course on this one. They will set sail towards gate O's here, but no one is going to be able to lock it down yet. The boy will fall eventually, though. So good start, and now following it up with Ace there, clearing the space accordingly for XO onto this one. The Burgers forced to concede. They're still maintaining high ground, but they aren't able to match them on the mission area.
And the boy has to abandon the Daredevil and try and match this Black Cat. He's been scouted out too many times, and you can kind of tell the Burgers are trying to play to set up a pinch, but every time they take out that one lurker, it just all falls apart as XO could just clamp down on the rest of the Burgers formation. And now Burgers, even though they have a couple of big ults coming their way, they've missed their opportunity to dodge the Royal Flush. It's going to be coming out from the side of Ace as he is 92% and will be making up the rest of the way before long. Banhammer's going to come out from bed. We're able to get an early elim onto Felix from that one. Banhammer comes out, not onto Wound, so he is going to stay legendary as he writes his own legend from the sky. Finds two, and amongst them was Ace, and I believe the Royal Flush might have gotten canceled.
Yeah, it would seem that the Royal Flush got absolutely shredded by the Galactic Legend there. So Wounds locked into exactly which targets they need to shut down, and they will be able to barge in, guns blazing, take control of that mission area there. So going to be very happy with the result there. XO close to taking it full send, but not close enough to get it locked down yet. They do have 4 ults to their name, though, so they can turn things around if required, but they have to bait out some of the Burgers' strategist ults if they want to make it work. Freedom Charge coming in to start the fight here, and Scrappy going to be the first to fall, and the boy could be soon to follow unless not going to be saved. So it's going to be members of the Burgers shaped away layer by layer.
And the dance floor from RF is going to have to be enough. Ben takes down Ace. It's another high-value KO. Banhammer coming out from JT3, and now Felix wants to drop the dance floor, turning this function to Bonnaroo. And the Burgers trying to buy their way back into it and keep this percentage ticking. Alone Fills with the Ensong Inferno is not going to find enough, but the cleanup will be there. Zeta and Sungjuk Woo going deep to the back line. Navoy comes back with a vengeance and takes down Alone Fills, but it seems like XO are getting the better of this exchange, and all the Burgers can hope to do is delay the inevitable.
Yeah, just looking to stall it out as long as they can. It is working, though. You know, they're managing to trade blow for blow here. They found Ace, and Ace is actually switching it up. They're not going to be reliant upon the Gambit anymore. They will be on to the Jap this time. If they can charge up to the It's Jap, it could be quite the difference maker, especially towards this later stage of the first capture point here. See if it is going to work out, though. God of Thunder is available, and maybe
No,
more,
it's not.
but they shut down that God of Thunder. The sun has come when the rain would fall.
And Woon's going to take down Sungjuk Woo, but it's traded out for Ved. And again, XO getting ahead in this KO feed, but Burgers are ahead in capture percentage, so the job has been well done for the Burgers no matter which way you slice it. 98%, and XO will find the flip, but as the TP play comes out from Scrappy, there's an opportunity here. Alone Fills takes down Woos with a headshot, though. No Galactic Legend going to be on deck, and no other ultimates for the side of the Burgers, as XO now threatening to take this to one-fight territory. Xantha going to pop the Freedom Charge, and Alone Fills still looking for that next elim. It's not going to come. RF is going to be able to get away, and Sungjuk Woo trying to burst through the Freedom Charge and will do just that. Takes down 2. The back line of the Burgers in complete disarray, and 4 members of the Burgers falling one after the other, and there is the 5th. A nice little double for Alone Fills to cap off the first points here, but Burgers really made XO work for Celestial Vault.
Oh, yeah. They made him work real hard for that one, and now it's time to lock in to the Celestial Hand here. The next objective on a lock, and we'll see who will be able to lay claim to this one. The Burgers, you know, they had some confident moments there. I was very impressed with how Wounds navigated the Galactic Legend in particular. They made it count when it mattered, but they can't just put everything on one hero and one high-impact ultimate there. They're going to need to find more in order to push ahead of this one, because otherwise XO are just going to string it past you and overwhelm.
But they did shut down the highest impact ultimate from the side of XO. They forced Ace to make that swap off of the Gambit over onto the Jeff, and if you're the Burgers, that's something that you can work with, you know? You don't have to worry about that Royal Flush anymore, that pseudo-guaranteed fight win that XO could keep in their back pocket. And like I said, it's not really their style. They're not the most practiced on that composition, so once they realize it's not working, they're going to swap off of it, and maybe that's going to give the Burgers a little bit of breathing room. It all came down to that one elim on Wounds at the last second there, because No other ults were available for the Burgers for that last fight, but that means you get to carry the Galactic Legend onto this first fight and get a chance to build up to a little bit more, and there's not going to be a whole lot in your way.
There's not going to be a whole lot in this time, but it is going to be JT3 opening up the account here. Hypolical going down, and going to follow up once the body barrier goes. Van will potentially go with it. Zeta locking it in. So great start as EXO overwhelmed them, forced the Burgers as far back as possible here, and they lock it down with a Van Hammer again. Going to be looking to get the advantage bound through for Navoy as well. Unfortunately, not able to do much with it, however.
Yeah, as EXO just disengage, and they're not even going to use any ultimates for it, so 4 ults now going to be coming online for EXO, and the Burgers, like, Woos is still holding on to this Galactic Legend. He's so hesitant to try and go for a play with it. Alone Phil seemingly has him caught out. Not able to confirm the Elim, though, but Sungjuk Woo sees an opportunity, and he will seize it. Takes down RF. Tries to go for Hypolical as well, but the teleport does come out. Not going to be able to clean that one up. Kumio is unleashed, but man left behind. Navoy has to dash back in to the waiting arms of his Fox friends, and the Burgers looking to try and make something happen with this one. Scrappy's going to take down Alone Phil's. Good use of the Thor here, but the Jeff ultimate from Ace. He doesn't get anything for his money, though, but RF tries to rejoin the fight, and Zeta gives him a warm welcome indeed. Wounds finally pops the Galactic Legend, is able to get one for it, but is going to need so much more than that as Sungjuk Woo has him tagged with the calling card and will be taking him down. And now with that calling card coming up from the other side, it's just not going to be enough. The Burgers have no way forward in this fight.
And they're being shut out almost entirely here, although they have found Ace into this, and Sungjuk Woo, maybe they heard you, CB, and now they're looking to break back into this one as they're fighting KO for KO. I can't believe what I'm witnessing right now, as Aether held it down as long as they could, but the Burgers get the flip on this one.
Yeah, the fight got a little bit too split, and the Burgers were able to capitalize off of it, so 73% for EXO, and Burgers were able to find the flip, and, you know, RF was kind of getting bullied there, not able to use that Fate of Both Worlds at any occasion, so does get to carry it over onto this next fight, and EXO spent pretty heavily because they thought that one was won, but no dice on this occasion. There's a little bit of a back cap going on, so someone from the Burgers, or everyone from the Burgers, is gonna have to peel back to try and stop that from coming through. There's gonna be that Fate of Both Worlds coming out now, and Burgers have to try and make something happen with this one, but once again, EXO recognize the Stratus Ult coming out, and they just disengage.
Engage and ready to push in with the Ponage bound right now, and avoid trying their best to deploy their best to put forward here. They can deliver accordingly. Scrappy does have God of Thunder available if they need it. It's going to be the Van Hammer coming down into that God of Thunder. Scrappy going down before it can cook though, and more to be booked in as it is great for EXO onto this one. Wounds good for it, does shut down 2 in their same point there. And they will flip the script here at long last. Alone feels good for it, and the Burgers in a big trouble.
Yeah, 80%. It's one fight territory, and neither of those KOs that Wounds was able to secure were onto Strategist, so this front line is going to be nice and bolstered up. Zeta can hold the door here, and Burgers have to try and find a way through. Ved on the Captain America going to take a gentleman's duel with his contemporary, and Zeta is going to peel back, let the fight happen on the point, so it's going to break down here into an overtime fight, but if it breaks down too far, Alone Phil's is going to have the End Song Inferno. Ved gets taken down there by Ace, so no one to absorb the damage. The End Song comes down, and a bit of an earworm, that one. That song gets stuck in your head, and that might be the last thing that goes through your head as Sungjuk Woo raking his claws right on through the backline. Kumiho unleashed from Hypolical, but we'll put you right back on that leash as EXO zip this one up, and a nice 2-0 on Celestial Husk.
Gonna be sitting comfortably with that one there, CB, so well done, well played to EXO in that endeavor. The Burgers definitely showed a little bit of energy there. I liked some of the flair that came through from them, but EXO, they just knew how to navigate the landscape so confidently. You know, Diatonic chatted up about Zeta before, and there's a big reason why Zeta is the MVP here today.
Yeah, it's 7 final hits for him, which, you know, a little bit behind Alone Phil's and Sungjuk Woo, who were getting active, whether it was on the Phoenix or the Black Cap, but all of those elims that those two got were set up by this guy, Zeta, going in deep, drawing the aggro, making it happen and making it easy. Sungjuk Woo is the second of that 1-2 punch, and when it hits you hard, and the scary thing about it is the Burgers tried to make this strategy happen, force EXO onto the Gambit, which they would be uncomfortable with, and midway through point 1, EXO were like, what if we just didn't do that?
Yeah, well, what if we just changed the script entirely, you know? Go a whole different way with it, but been in different ways. I think we're going to see a entirely different draft, likely heading into our second map, but we get to reflect on this first one first, and this was a big way to start it off. You know, we saw Wounds get great impact out of the Galactic Legend there. EXO did some fantastical work as well, you know, playing around JT3, managing to really enable themselves.
Yeah, Sungjuk Woo, like, on this Black Cat is just, like, something else. Like, it's just so hard to deal with, and when you have Zaytha setting it up, it's so easy for Sungjuk Woo to knock it out of the park every time. Full credit to Wounds, though, but he was also kind of getting bullied by Alone Fill, so EXO are able to take these fights on their terms and win out the duels when it matters, and that's just enough to carry them the rest of the way. But Burgers are going to be on their map pickup next, and I'm wondering, like, where do you take us? There is a wrong answer, by the way. It's not. Don't say museum.
Well, we'll have to think about it a while longer as we get.
We'll have to contemplate it.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, we're gonna have to contemplate it a little bit longer as we settle things down into a break right now. Everybody, map 2 gonna be right around the corner. You don't want to miss it. We'll be back very soon.
Maximum pulse!
You made me angry! We are undefeatable!
Well, another standout performance from XOXO01 here on map number 1, delivered by Zaytha and Sungjuk Woo, that 1-2 punch of unstoppable dive. But the Burgers definitely putting up a fight, and that's very on brand for them. Even in these matchups against those titanic teams here in Asia, they always seem to be able to deliver some team fight wins.
Yeah, and they're not only delivering team fight wins, but able to force EXO off of the gambit, which they offered up. It wasn't enough to get them the dub, but they did go the distance on both of those points. And like Matsi was saying a little bit before we cut to break, I think the draft does need to change, and so too does the setting. Or maybe it's not changing all that much, as we're not exactly racking up the airlines miles on this one. We are just taking a nice little trip around the corner from Celestial Husk over to, for the first time, Symbiotic Surface.
Yeah, just a trip around the corner of the block here, the other Clintar map in rotation here on deck, and definitely quite a shake-up here. Pretty interesting choice from the Burgers. You know, same kind of thing with the Gambit going through as well. I was very surprised that they did not decide to ban him later in that draft. I think I kept getting closer and closer to my screen as that draft continued, because I'm like, where's the Gambit ban or the save? Nobody's touching Gambit here for EXO, but, you know, it didn't seem like he was as impactful. You know, Ace did play him for a while, got some licks in for sure, but didn't seem to kind of flow all the way through to the end of map number 1.
Yeah, just so adaptable, weren't they? You know, they just didn't really get the impact they wanted out of the Gambit. Like, they started off okay with it, but there's a reason why they just switched it out back towards the Jeff there. You know, they realized maybe Gambit isn't the answer onto this one, and they managed to, yeah, take control back in their favor accordingly. So it goes to show, even if Gambit is one of the most highly impactful heroes in the pool right now, maybe they're not always the answer.
Maybe like, you know, if you're the Burgers, like going into this next map, maybe you're willing to let the Gambit through again, considering it wasn't that much more of a factor. But somewhere else, you got to change up the bands in some way, shape, or form, because they didn't really hit all the other notes that they needed to stop EXO from getting away with what they love to get away with. And I think a big part of that is, again, the fact that EXO got that Black Cat Protect. Any way you slice it, Sung Woo is going to be piloting that hero. And if he gets access to your backline, whether it's with a Venom or a Captain America, any dive you want, it's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt in a big way, and let's see exactly which way both teams want to play now. Is again, the Burgers are not going to be first at banning a Gambit here. They will be focused up on to the Dino. So you can kind of see a little bit of the recipe they're going for here. They don't care if your opponent's going to be playing Gambit. They're looking to shut down some of the other higher priority heroes into this one. You know, shut down your Dino, your Rocket, and just lock away whatever they need to. But it does allow EXO to socket in that Black Cat again.
Yeah, the same as they did on Celestial Husk. Like, they're not going to fall for the bait of letting that Gambit through. It's like, okay, don't ban it then. We'll just simply not protect it because we do not care, all right? Maybe we bring out Ace for 1 or 2 fights on it again, but, you know, we're just going to swap and play our style regardless, and that's what the Burgers need to try and find a way to ban out. Right now, they're hitting a lot of the same notes. The Rocket, the Devil Dino, the Phoenix might be a different change of pace, you know, maybe make things a little bit easier for Wounds if he wants to try and go for that Star-Lord again. It's going to be mirrored on both sides, so no Jean Grey coming out to play.
Not today. Could it be the Galactic Legend locked in for the Burgers, though? If they want it, we saw exactly what Wounds was able to do with that one before. Might do it again. Luna now being considered instead, however, as the seconds dwindle, and they will lock it in. So, going to see the dance floor coming on track here, and the next ban is EXO's.
And it should be the Mantis band, so you kind of get like a soft protect onto what you wanted anyway, so I kind of like it. Like, you're not going to just give up a triple strategist, especially when you want to play dive, but they might go for a one-sided Black Cat instead. Interesting. Okay, so Burgers get the Star-Lord and the Luna. It's going to be a mirror Luna Protect for EXO, but that creates an interesting conundrum. Maybe you go for... Yeah, it's going to be a Mantis band that comes out from the Burgers, so Burgers are going to get a one-sided Mantis here.
Yeah, that could be dangerous, I think, if they're able to lock that one down. They're considering, what do they ban, Mantis or Cap? Yeah, shut down Azatha perhaps, but no, it is going to be a Mantis taken away, so they will be able to play into that for themselves here. Sungjuk Woo hovering the magic of all things. We saw a bit of magic play before. You know, you think back to Spocky playing into that one. Not going to see magic again this time, however, but EXO are considering playing into our team up here between Gambit and Rogue. You know, there's a reason JT3 is already hovering over that one.
He hasn't really been known to play it, but I mean, if you got the team up, you know, again, she rockets up to an S-tier hero. She's probably just like spamming the need team up. Ace, please go Gambit. Please let me get the team up so I can finally play something besides this Vanpool, which he's also been piloting. And we haven't seen a whole lot of Vanpool coming through in the picks and the drafts, but we have seen him be played a lot more. I think the death of the Vanpool has been greatly exaggerated, and it's a great answer to especially the Devil Dino, but also to some of these flyers that teams like to play, like the Star-Lord, you know, and a lot of other different tools that some of these teams like to play these days. You were making a face just now. What was that all about?
We saw an interesting hover. That's all I was just saying. We saw an interesting hover. We might have seen a little jewel pool if we were lucky, but we're not so lucky, unfortunately. I would have loved to see it, but today's not that day, unless Sungjuk Woo is feeling some type of way. But we are going to be looking to lock in a play right now. EXO is on the attack. Unfortunately, no Rogue this time, so JT3 going to be happy to play into the Vanpool. And going to see if they can push themselves straight into action here as they just climb straight through the front door. But they're looking to run it around the side right now and see if they can meet their opponents on the high ground.
Now, Ved is going to be all alone trying to contest the point. A lot of healing is going to be coming his way, but so too is a lot of damage. And there's a bit of a pinch. You can see Alone feels off on the right-hand side there, even through RF's POV. You see the silhouette as he turns around and gives a nice clap on a Sungjuk Woo. Sungjuk Woo is able to get out alive. How did he Harry Houdini that so hard? And XO not losing a man on this attack just yet. It's the portal through the floor. Bro just went through the drain, and he came right back up with a vengeance, taking down Wounds, threatening to get the back line as well. Alone Fills and Ace getting in that KO feed, and that is done and dusted on this attack. First tick done. The second not far behind, and I don't think there's anyone who's going to be alive for the Burgers in time to make the strange swap, so that's your lot.
Yeah, that's going to be that locked in for the taking here. So, XO are going to be happy to take control of the initial capture point there, and will be looking to push the convoy as far as they can. Scrappy's already trying to take it up high here, see if they can stifle their efforts a little bit. See if they can take it to a different angle here. And I like how the Burgers are taking control of the high ground whilst maintaining that control with Ben down the low ground. But speaking of, it's JT3 right now looking to bring the Van Hammer down, and have already shot down RF there. So this could be an injection of offensive pressure again from XO.
Yeah, like you say, like, Burgers are trying to hold the high ground, but XO have the tools to evict them from that high ground, take it for their own. Wounds will peel back and get Sungjuk Woo, but they got left all alone. JT3 gonna clean that one up and just load the deagle shots into Scrappy, and he'll be absorbing all of that, donating some strategist full charge to the back line. Maybe that is what the Burgers can use to hold the line, but they do give up the high ground you mentioned in order to do it.
Space for now, and the God of Mischief gonna try and get some space back with the Raging Legend locked in for Wounds now. We're gonna see if they can catch Felix round the back. The counter-attack is tremendous as Scrappy and Co enjoy the shows here, and we'll be able to bounce back in a big way. But you think that that's the only time we're going to see that? XO can do it right back to them.
Yeah, but what a play from Hybolical to use the God of Mischief and snipe out Ace. Like, we were talking a couple days ago, like, Liger was posting that as, like, a potential combo to come out, and I was like, yeah, no, it's too hard. You can't do it. You got to try and catch the Gambit outright. Hybolical makes it work, but like you said, it's going to be coming right back the other way. Mirror Force, Magic Cylinder, whatever cards you want to play. XO have all the cards in their hand right now, and it is going to be the Rage and Roll Flush. Ace flashed it for a second, not committing, and it could be the Strangling Prison, so maybe the opportunity has come and gone. Alone Bills gets frozen up, Galactic Legend canceled out, and RF can't confirm the Elim, and there it is. It comes through with a clap. 2 Ice Arts, and you're done, and I don't think they can go for that combo anymore, Matt.
No, they thought about it. They are going to put it away. It's going to be the Raging Strangling Prison there instead, so why not? We'll see how it all goes for XO now, though. The dance floor is popped in response. RF not going to be able to hold on to it any longer. Scrappy just barely holding on in this fight, and XO ready to see if they can fight their way out. Hybolical will succeed in the back line there, and let's see if they can get anything else around it. Wounds does fall back out of the pressure, and is looking to shut out Sungjuk Woo here. Full clip, they dip out of it. Calling card at the ready in a second as well. So XO prepared to fight back here, but it's been a dangerous bout indeed.
Yeah, and Burgers, like, XO hesitate so much on that previous engage that Burgers were able to win that fight and bleed out more time. So, like, sure, you're coming up on those ults again. You're going to get another Galactic Legend here. Scrappy, though, has JT3 isolated, and the calling card is going to come out, and it's only going to amount to a trade, but that is a high-value one in Navoy. Galactic Legend now going to come out from Alone Field. He's got Wounds in his sight and dishing out the very same, and we'll have one for Ved as well. A nice little double for him, and XO will win this fight. They have to spend both Duelist Ultimates in order to do it, but there's gonna be one more fight, and the Burgers were diamond hands on their ultimates, so they have tools to stop this card again.
Could be another Raging Legend at their ready there if Hybolical can snipe that out again, but no. No Gambit, no opportunity for that one. So lucky for XO this time. They realize they don't want to deal with that again, but they might shut down Hybolical before they can even get there. An incredible start. They've shut down the whole strat lineup. Oh my goodness. XO just overwhelmed them. They try to respond back with the ults aplenty, but they're just being drowned out of this. XO take complete control of the mission vehicle. They try and stall it out. It doesn't even matter. XO claimed the checkpoint.
250 in the time bank, and they are going to carry over a wealth of ultimates to brute force as the rest of the way, and the Burgers still making swaps to try and mount something resembling a defense at this point. Navoy over onto that Daredevil could be a good tool, but again, he's going to be stuck in that duel with Sungjuk Woo, and Sungjuk Woo has access to the portals. We've seen him use them so well to duck and dodge out of situations that should have been deadly for him, but he gets out with his life every time, and the boy is going to try and find a way to pin him down, catch him in his broke boy mode. Wounds is able to take him down, but it's traded out for RF, and as Aether goes in and takes down Hybolical, there's no backline for the Burgers anymore, so EXO will just run them over ultless.
Yeah, we'll be able to just absolutely fold them through there and to see if they can pull through with another. As they hold the position for now, the Burgers, they got God of Mischief at the ready. You know, they got the Galactic Legend. That's all they got for the minute. If EXO can stop them before they activate here, would be the perfect recipe to just push it over the line. But speaking of, they are now looking to fight toe-to-toe. The Galactic Legend locked in, the boy locked down. God of Mischief coming out as well. Here's the dance floor. They can even double that up if they charge up RF here, and Wounds is absolutely farming, but Scrappy falls all the meanwhile. So EXO are not going down without a fight here.
Now, Luna Snow ain't quite a gambit, but it'll do in a pinch if you're trying to go for a damage amp for Wounds, and it does pay off. So now the Burgers do have a way forward in this fight, but EXO still have tools to try and get it the rest of the way. RF holding on to that Beta Both Worlds. You said the Burgers can double dip, but they are not interested in doing so. They want to hold that one out for as long as they possibly can and try to bleed this time bank all the way down to a fat 0 and potentially stop the cap from coming out altogether. EXO coming up on a few more ultimates. Beast of the Abyss and Galactic Legend both on deck, but Alone feels low HP. Spirit Sanctuary will save him, and that does give an opportunity for EXO, and are they going to be able to capitalize off of it?
That's the thing, isn't it? And they will dive right around the back there, so trying to divide the lines of sight again here. Vanhammer coming down from JT3 as well. Vett the first to fall there. Alone feels holding, waiting, ready to pop the Galactic Legend if required here, but it might not even be needed. Beats the Abyss now popped down, forcing out the dance floor. Wounds going down, everybody falling all the meanwhile. It's like the dance floor just cosmetic, and it will be the Galactic Legends trying to burn their way through the holidays, and they will be getting KOs for days here, forcing them all the way back to the spawn line. They dine good and lock it down for the full push.
That's just what I want under my Christmas tree, a triple KO, and it's timed perfectly. Like, we were talking about that Fate of Both Worlds from RF and how long he was trying to hold it out for. Alone Fills was just that much more patient, waited for it to come out, and as soon as it expires, happy holidays indeed. He takes the skies and gets a triple, and that is EXO finishing with time on the Burgers map pick. I did like some of the things I was seeing from the side of the Burgers, and if they're able to parlay that into a full cap, we could take this to extra innings, but that's the only way that the Burgers going to be able to even the score here.
Yeah, going to be the only way that they can even bring us something back into this one. You can already see some changes in the composition right now. Ace are looking to clear space on the Gambit again there. JT3 are playing into the Benny on defense. So, going to be a good to really lock things down with the mines there. Can lock it in with the Groot and the Bucky on this one. You know, there's a lot of isolation potential on this. I love the fact they can use the Thornlash walls there, play into the Bionic Hook. It's hook, line, and sinker in the KO feed. That's the future I predict here.
And I gotta talk again about JT3 and like how flexible he is in this Vanguard role and how he just allows so many different looks for EXO. Like, it used to just be dive or die for this team. That was their mantra, but this isn't a very divey composition, save for Sung Juk Woo, all right? You can't make a leopard change his spots, all right? He's going to dive, but on the Black Cat, you can just still kind of play it a little bit more of a brawl kind of style, same as you would with like a Daredevil, as sort of that like hybrid between the two, but you would have never seen EXO playing something like a Penny Parker before.
Yeah, and this is just attributing to like the new definition that EXO has found for themselves after getting the coach on lock there. They've really transformed as a team and in a great way. You know, they've managed to strengthen themselves so well. But speaking of so well, they are going to be spelling trouble for the high ground right now, looking to make the Burgers look many different directions onto this one. They haven't found an opening to break on into the mission area just yet, but it might be afforded one sooner or later. They try their best to isolate the fight. The boy almost taken out of play there.
And Zatha also almost taken out by a hook that comes out, but it's just not enough. Burgers, like, it's so rough because like you saw EXO trying to play that high ground. There's another one that comes out through from the void, taking Zatha back, but he's able to get out alive. Ironwood wall already bursted down, and not going to have that extra staying power, and Navoy is going to be able to walk right on through, avoid the penny mines. Definitely don't want to step on those. The floor might not be lava, but mines are just as bad. Good turnaround from Alone Fills. Just deletes Scrappy. Says, no, I'd rather you not be in my backline. Thank you very much. Tainted Voltage whiffs onto Ved, but still does put the Fear of God in him and puts a bullet into Navoy. And that is going to be 3 members of the Burgers up, 3 down. And with Hypolical falling late there, XO keeping this ironclad defense going.
Ooh, and they continue just like that. Wounds going down. Scrappy switching it up onto the Thor again here. We'll see if the electrifying gameplay is what they need in order to burst their way on into the mission area right now, as they are struggling to push their way through here. Scrappy looking to run it around the outside though. See if they can push it past and trail ahead of this one, and the walls in front of them as well allows them to stack up a lot of damage for XOs here, but not ready to push into it just yet. They still need to find that opening opportunity.
I need to take a drive fight here, force out some ultimates, and there they come. It's going to be a Strangling Prison and a Kraken Impact. Good Carbon Crush. The shut Alone Fills down, and with only the Fate of Both Worlds, RF is able to keep the team stabilized. It's going to be traded out for the Fate of Both Worlds from Felix, so both teams are throwing down. It's going to be a dance-off to decide Clintar, but Navoy was caught in the corner outside of the dance floor alone with a drink in his hand, and JT3 was not digging his vibe, and Zaytha and Sungjuk Woo just running roughshot in the back line, as is his wont, as he has been known to do. You can't make a leopard change his spots, and you can't make him stop clawing your face to shreds.
Yeah, rip and tear, they just don't care, as they will be tearing up your back line there, and they ain't even close to being done here. Sungjuk Woo ready with the flame orb as well. Collect a bit of information off that one. They know where they're coming from. They know where they're going. Sungjuk Woo ready to flow their way in. Their teammates play distraction, but no, they've been caught just before they can burst into the fight here. So the Burgers will clear a path ahead. Bionic Hook, though, could stop them in their tracks. Not going to land that one this time, but you can tell XO are doing a great job to stall them in the late stage.
And it's only less than 1 minute, so potentially only one fight for the Burgers. It's one they've got to win. Lartrock's coming out from wounds. He's got 2 in the jaws, but can't confirm the elims onto them, so Burgers are going to drain the ult bank to try and make it happen. They're able to get Alone Fills, but JT3 laying out the red carpet with the Spider Sweeper, and even hypnotized, he's still able to take down his would-be hypnotist in bed, and that is going to be a trade you cannot afford at this stage of the game. RF going to be taken down by Sungjuk Woo, and JT3 will not be brought to justice. This penny is paying off dividends. 13 seconds left. It's going to be a strange TP play that comes in from Ved, but the entire point is covered in penny mines. There is no safe place to deploy the troops. Any way you slice it, they are cooked. Felix is able to take down Wounds with a headshot. Navoy comes through, takes down JT3, clears up the Spider's Nest as well, so there is a little bit of safe playing ground here for the Burgers, but not a whole lot of time to leverage it. Scrappy gets frozen up, and Felix is good for another one. The Fate of Both Worlds comes out just in time to negate the damage coming through from Wounds up in the skies. Hypolical takes down Sungjuk Woo, but you need to find so much more damage, and anybody has to help Ved. He's so low, and he has no friends, and he has no health bar, and he has no hope of taking this point from XO, as XO will take it 2-0, and the Burgers are set packing.
Yeah, XO flips the Burgers out of this series here, and that's going to be a GG. Well played on that one. XO going to have a confident victory. A big shout out to both of these teams for bringing us both maps of Clintar there, Inner Celestial Husk and the Symbiotic Surface. So, love to see it, just like the Felix MVP on the Luna, going flight mode onto that one, and XO will be happy to lock that one in.
But a little bit of fight mode as well, because Bro was definitely throwing hands back there. 17k damage for the Luna Snow. That is more damage than Sungjuk Woo was doing, all right? Luna Snow, she's not a strategist anymore. She's a duelist. I said it first. I'm saying it with my chest. With that self-snowflake and with the right circumstances, she can get some pretty inflated damage numbers and really put out the hurtin'. And Felix was hitting the freezes, hitting the shots, winning the duels, and keeping this backline afloat and keeping the front line alive. And it was a very tanky, very beefy front line. The Groot Penny combo, a Clintar classic, I'll call it, something that you would see in your gold games, but it comes out here for XO, and it works out perfectly, and Felix is a not insignificant part of the reason why. And we also can't ignore the elephant in the room. Alone Fills with 14 final hits and JT3 with 12. This team looks so much more complete so much more flexible, so much more evolved than they did compared to themselves in the preseason, and JT3 has given them an entirely new lease on life, and everybody from this team is stepping up to show exactly what they have been capable of all along. They can now manifest it, and even though they get checked by Reject, they're able to come back with a vengeance, a nice 2-0 against the Burgers. What a way to get back in the saddle and establish yourself once again atop the pecking order.
Yeah, fantastic work coming through from them, and they're cementing themselves in the higher parts of the standings here, and will be feeling good towards the tail end of their place into the group stage here. You know, EXO just going to be feeling great, but you know what else? I'm feeling great because we got Diatonic back.
Yeah, I mean, hey, another notch in the win column for XOXO01. Perhaps their best campaign in a stage of Ignite so far. The only series they dropped to Reject. And if you're going to drop one, I feel like a team like Reject is the one to drop it to. So, again, just another solid performance from this EXO team. And, you know, we got to get one more interview in with our friends over at XOXO01. We've got one of them on the line here to get a little bit more insight on this and what they're looking at going into the playoffs next. I had a feeling. Sungjuk Woo, welcome back to the desk, my friend. How are you guys feeling? A big group stage for you guys here in stage one.
You feel excited for the stage one, and yeah, kind of like disappointed like from yesterday because we lost to Reject, but yeah.
I was gonna say, does it feel good to kind of bounce back though? Like you take that loss to Reject, but then you get a nice clean 2-0 here. Does that feel like that kind of, you know, gets your ego back where it needs to be?
Not really, but the score is what we think it's gonna be, but we not really think that like in that way, you know. Yeah.
Get you. And I guess heading towards the playoffs, do you feel like you're going to be able to enact some revenge against Reject?
Of course, we are looking to revenge them. Like our first priority is like to beat Reject. So yeah.
I guess that's kind of my question looking ahead. Like, you know, don't open the playbook too much. Don't give away the secrets. But is there something you guys are kind of looking to prepare against Reject, or something you're looking to kind of shore up before those playoffs?
We have to see the new patch first, like to see what is nerfed, what's buffed, and yeah, we can't really say anything right now because yeah, the stage one is we play with the different patch. Yeah.
Let's say hypothetically in the new patch they buff Black Cat. You guys, you think you beat Reject then?
I mean, there's no way they're gonna buff that hero, but I mean, yeah, there's a chance we can beat them. But... Yeah, there's a chance we can beat them, but yesterday our first game is we play really bad, but our second game is like we get a good fight, but yeah, we just choked on last point, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys walked away in this matchup with Gambit a couple times in the draft, and, you know, it's kind of my question. Are you guys prepared for some more Gambits to get through? Do you have a game plan for when he actually makes it?
No, we're not practicing Gambit that much, and, like, from our comms, like, Gambits cannot get, like, outcharged that fast because we have, like, all the dive comms, so, like, a Gambit, like, cannot heal anyone there, yeah.
Yeah, very understandable. Well, Sungjuk Woo, the floor is yours, my friend. Anything you got to say to chat or the other teams here in Asia, or maybe some of those teams over on the OCE side that you're going to be seeing here in a couple weeks?
Yeah, thanks for all the support there, like, and sorry for let you guy down yesterday because like we lost to Reject, but yeah, in the stage one we're gonna do our best to try to beat them again. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to the run back for sure. Sungjuk Woo, thank you as always. Love seeing you here, and best of luck in those playoffs. We'll see you back here in a couple weeks.
See you guys. Thank you.